in the frozen Ardennes forest on December 26, 1944. As snow whipped through the air like shrapnel, General George S. Patton Jr. stood atop a Sherman tank, his breath fogging the icy dawn. His Third Army had just punched through German lines to relieve the besieged 101st Airborne in Bastogne, a miracle of speed and fury that turned the tide of Hitler's last desperate offensive. But what if, in that moment of triumph, Patton uncovered a secret American experiment hidden in the ruins, a weapon so radical it could rewrite the war's end, forcing him to question loyalty, morality, and the very soul of the nation he fought for? If that hooks you, smash that like button right now and subscribe for more untold WWII stories that pull no punches, because this one's about to explode. Let's roll. Sergeant Elias Eli Harlan gripped the wheel of his Jeep, knuckles white against the cold, as the convoy snaked through the bullet-riddled streets of Bastogne. It was December 26, 1944, and the air still reeked of credite and fear. Eli, a lanky farm boy from Nebraska, with a scar across his cheek from Omaha Beach, had driven point for Patton's vanguard. His orders were simple: link up with the 101st, deliver supplies, and hold the line. But nothing in war was ever simple. The Jeep jolted over a crater, and Ellie's passenger, Lieutenant Maria Voss, clutched her medical kit tighter. Maria wasn't her typical army nurse. She was a brilliant chemist from MIT, pulled into the war effort under the secretive veil of the Office of Strategic Services. Her dark hair was tucked under a helmet, her eyes sharp as bayonets. "Slow down, Sergeant," she snapped. "We're not racing Hitler to Berlin." Eli grinned through chattering teeth. "Ma'am, with Patton breathing down our necks, every mile's a race." He'd met Maria just days ago, assigned to escort her through the Bulge. She was cagey about her mission, muttering about classified samples and contingency protocols. Eli figured it was some new wonder drug for the troops, like penicillin, on steroids. He had no idea how wrong he was. As they crested a hill, Bastogne unfolded below, a shattered town of rubble and defiant paratroopers. The 101st had held out for a week against encirclement, their commander, General Anthony McAuliffe, famously replying nuts to a German surrender demand. Now, Patton's tanks rumbled in, cheers echoing like thunder. Eli parked near a bombed-out church, where medics swarmed the wounded. Maria leaped out, scanning the chaos. "I need to find the command post. Stay close." Eli followed, rifle slung over his shoulder, his boots crunching on frozen earth. The relief was palpable. Soldiers slapped backs, shared cigarettes, but tension lingered. German artillery still boomed in the distance, and rumors swirled of SS commandos infiltrating lines. At the makeshift HQ in a cellar, they found McAuliffe barking orders. Maria flashed her OSS credentials, and the general's eyebrows shot up. "You're the specialist. Follow me." Down a narrow tunnel, lit by flickering lanterns, McAuliffe led them to a sealed vault door scavenged from a bank. "We found this 2 days ago while digging foxholes. Thought it was a German cache at first, but the markings, they're ours." He spun the lock, and the door creaked open. Inside, the air was stale, laced with a chemical tang. Crates stamped with U.S. Army insignias lined the walls, but the labels were blacked out. Maria's face paled as she pried one open. Inside, glass vials filled with a shimmering blue liquid, wired to detonators. Eli peered over her shoulder. "What the hell is that?" "Looks like something from a mad scientist's lab." Maria's voice dropped to a whisper. "It's Project Azure, a nerve agent derivative, engineered to induce mass hallucinations in enemy troops, make them see phantoms, turn on each other." It was supposed to be a last resort weapon, tested in secret labs back home. But this stockpile was smuggled here, hidden in Bastogne before the siege. Ellie's stomach twisted. "Ours? Why hide it in Belgium?" "Contingency," Maria said, her hands trembling as she examined a manifest. "If the Bulge broke our lines, orders were to deploy it against advancing Germans. But it backfired in trials. Unpredictable winds could carry it back to our boys. Roosevelt vetoed it personally. Someone went rogue, buried it here to force the issue." A shout from above. "General Patton's here." The ground shook as tanks rolled in. Patton himself stormed down the stairs, ivory-handled pistols gleaming, his bull terrier Willie at his heels. "McAuliffe, you held the bastards off. Good show." His eyes landed on Maria and the crates. "What's this?" "Christmas presents from Uncle Sam." Maria saluted stiffly. "Sir, this is classified." "Classified my ass," Patton growled. "I'm relieving this town in record time, and you're digging up ghosts. Spill it, Lieutenant." As Maria briefed him, Patton's face hardened. The relief of Bastogne was his crowning glory, diverting his army 100 miles in blizzard conditions, smashing through to save the 101st. But this discovery, it smelled of betrayal. Who authorized this poison? Bradley. Ike. Unknown, sir, Maria replied. But the manifest points to a cabal in Washington, industrialists pushing for chemical escalation to end the war faster. Profits be damned. Patton's jaw clenched. He grabbed a field phone, cranking it furiously. Get me Bradley. Now. Up top. Eli watched the horizon. German stragglers sniped from the woods. But Allied artillery answered with fury. He thought of his kid brother back home, enlisting next year. Was this what America stood for? Secret gases that could melt minds? The phone crackled. General Omar Bradley's voice came through, calm but edged. George, you did it. Bastogne's ours. Patton didn't mince words. Omar, we've got a rat's nest here. American nerve gas, buried like a time bomb. What the hell is Project Azure? Silence stretched. Then Bradley, stand down. George, that's above your pay grade. Above my. We're fighting Nazis, not becoming them. Patton roared. Eli and Maria exchanged glances. This was escalating fast. Bradley sighed. It was a failsafe. If the Bulge collapsed the front, we'd use it to buy time. But you relieved them, George. Record time. Was that fast enough? Patton paused, the question hanging like smoke. Fast enough? You bet your stars it was. But if this leaks, it'll destroy us. The line went dead. Patton slammed the receiver, turning to Maria. Destroy it, all of it. That's an order. But as demolition teams wired the crates, a sniper's bullet cracked the air. Eli dove, tackling Maria as chaos erupted. German commandos auto scores and ace. Elite infiltrators had slipped in during the relief, drawn by intel on the cache. They wanted Azure for Hitler. Gunfire rattled the cellar. Eli fired back, his M1 Garand barking. They're after the gas. Patton drew his pistols, eyes blazing. Not on my watch. He charged up, Willie barking madly. The fight spilled into the streets. Eli dragged a wounded Maria to cover behind a half-track. Her arm grazed. Why risk everything for this? He gasped. It's not just gas, she confessed, wincing. Azure's formula includes a stabilizer from rare earth minerals found only in occupied territories. If Germans get it, they could mass-produce their own version, turn the war into a nightmare. A twist hit Eli like a grenade. Maria wasn't just a chemist. She was the creator of Azure, haunted by her invention. I built it to save lives, she whispered, shorten the war. But it twisted into this. Patton rallied troops, his voice booming over the din. Hold the line. These bastards want our secrets. Give em lead instead. In the melee, Eli spotted a commando wiring a crate to a truck. He sprinted, dodging bullets, and tackled the man. Fists flew, knives flashed. Eli won, but not before the German gasped. It's not yours, it's ours. Your own sold it. Sold it. Treason in the ranks as the commandos fell. Patton cornered their leader. Who sent you? The man sneered. An American friend. Profits over flags. Patton shot him point blank. No mercy. With the threat neutralized, they burned the crates in a controlled blaze. Azure flames licking the sky, but the revelation gnawed. Patton wired Eisenhower. Azure destroyed. Traitors among us. Ike's response. Bury it deep. Win the war. Eli helped Maria to a medic tent. You okay? She nodded, eyes distant. We stopped it. But what if there are more caches? Patton approached, clapping Eli on the back. Good work, son. You too, Lieutenant. America's better than this shadow war. As the Third Army pushed on, Eli pondered Bradley's words. Was it fast enough? Patton's speed saved Bastogne and perhaps the soul of the Allies. But in Washington, shadows stirred. An industrialist in a smoke-filled room smiled at a telegram. Azure lost. Proceed to phase 2. The war raged on. But the real battle was just beginning against enemies within. Weeks blurred into relentless advance. By January 1945, Patton's tanks chewed through the Ardennes, reclaiming lost ground. Eli, promoted to staff sergeant for his heroics, stuck with Maria, now his unofficial partner in unraveling the Azure conspiracy. They pored over captured documents and stolen moments, piecing together a web of betrayal. It started with Cornelius Hale, a steel magnate from Pittsburgh, whose factories churned out tanks but hungered for more. Hale had lobbied for chemical weapons, funding secret labs. When Roosevelt balked, Hale went underground, smuggling prototypes to Europe via neutral ships. Bastogne's cash was his insurance policy if the front crumbled. Azure would force escalation, lining his pockets with reconstruction contracts. Maria's guilt deepened. I worked for him pre-war. Thought it was pure science. Now I'm complicit. Eli squeezed her hand. We fix it, together. Their breakthrough came in late January, near the Sauer River. Patton's forces captured a German outpost, yielding a coded ledger. Maria deciphered it. Hale had a mole. In Bradley's staff captain Reginald Thorpe, a West Point grad with gambling debts. Thorpe's feeding intel, Eli said. That's how the commandos knew. Patton, briefed in his mobile HQ, a converted half-track, slammed his fist. Treason in my own chain? I'll hang him myself. But Thorpe vanished, tipped off. The hunt intensified as the Third Army crossed into Germany. February 1945. Bitter cold, endless mud. Eli and Maria rode with scouts, interrogating prisoners. One SS officer, broken by Maria's fluent German, spilled, "Your Azure inspired our new gas." Tabin upgraded. Hale's gift. Twist. Hale wasn't just selling to Nazis, he was playing both sides, hedging bets on the war's outcome. Escalating tension peaked in March, at the Rhine. Patton famously pissed in the river after crossing, but behind the bravado, paranoia festered. Bradley's hiding something, he confided to Eli. That call, was that fast enough? It was a code he knew about Azure. Maria uncovered proof. Bradley had authorized the initial tests. Under duress from Washington Hawks, he buried it to protect the troops. But Hale blackmailed him. A midnight raid on Hale's suspected contact, a Swiss banker in Luxembourg, went south. Ambush. Eli took a bullet to the shoulder. Maria dragged him to safety. "Don't die on me," she pleaded, tears freezing on her cheeks. "I won't," Eli groaned. "Got a farm waiting in Nebraska. You coming?" Her smile, first real one in months. Romance bloomed amid ruins. Patton arrived like a storm, routing the ambushers. "You two are my aces. Find Thorpe." April 1945. Allies closed on Berlin. Eli and Maria tracked Thorpe to a ruined castle in the Eifel Mountains. In a dungeon standoff, Thorpe laughed maniacally. "Azure's alive. Hale's producing it stateside. For the Pacific, Japan will hallucinate their emperor's defeat." Gunfight erupted. Thorpe fell, but not before triggering a booby trap. The castle collapsed. Eli shielded Maria, debris crushing his leg. Evacuated. Eli awoke in a field hospital. Maria at his bedside. "We got the ledger. Hale's exposed." Patton visited. Metals clinking. Bradley's coming clean to Ike. Azure scrapped for good. But victory soured. May 8th, V-Day. Celebrations rang hollow for Eli. Hobbling on crutches, Hale was arrested. But whispers lingered. How many secrets remained buried? Patton, ever the maverick, pulled Eli aside. "War's over, son. But the fight never ends. Guard the truth." Eli married Maria in Paris, 1946. They returned to Nebraska, raising kids on tales of heroism, not gas, but grit. Yet, in quiet nights, Eli wondered, was it fast enough? Patton's speed saved Bastogne, but shadows of Azure haunted America's conscience. In our rush to victory, what monsters do we birth? The true battle is vigilance, lest history repeats its darkest experiments.